Hi everybody, and welcome back down to Old Allen's. As you can see, I'm working on the hut again today. Bit of a labour of love, this one. I've got some friends, a couple of friends, staying down here tomorrow night, and I just want to do some more of these walls, get it nice and dry and warm in there for them. Because it's going to be a wet, wild and horrible day tomorrow. As you can see, I'm taking off the old framing, which was all on the inside, and I'm now putting new framing on the outside. So that's actually giving me about each side literally about that much extra space, almost a foot. But, you know, it's a good 10 inches between that I'm gaining inside. So by the time I've gone all the way round, that's going to be great. It's going to give a lot more space away from the fire. At the moment in there, I'm drying out an old chimney. That's not a normal fire that's in there. I've taken that out for today. So I'm literally just got a little fire going there. I'm just drying out an old chimney. So ignore that. While I sit here, just waiting for my noodles to soften up, just going to comment around the Roundhouse a little bit. I had a comment on the video, the last video I put up on the Roundhouse, which didn't really bother me at the time, but it did. It was very much a backhanded compliment, and I can't remember who put it up there, but it said, not exactly Ben Law's standard, but, and I didn't think anything of it. But then the more I thought about it, and I might be wrong on this, I don't know this person, I don't know who it was, as I say, and I didn't look at any of their videos, I don't even know, they may not have videos, but it did get me thinking that I wonder how many people on YouTube get stopped from doing things and filming things by people making throwaway comments. I'm sure that person didn't mean any offence, I'm absolutely certain they didn't, but you're absolutely right. I mean, this isn't Ben Law's standard of work, but then I'm not doing it for a job. I don't live here, I don't have teams of helpers like he did, and then the more I thought about that, well, if people look back to Ben Law's, when he did the Grand Designs programme, he'd been living in prickly nut wood in shelters much like this, actually probably not as nice as this, for I think the best part of 20 years, certainly over 10 years, before he got permission to build and built himself that lovely cruck frame house for which he's famous. And then obviously on from there he's gone on, he's done reciprocal frame stuff. But I would say personally I am more aligned with a chap called Tony Wrench, and if you don't know who he is, look him up on YouTube. Just type in Tony Wrench on YouTube and it'll come up. Wrench as in spanner, wrench I believe is the spelling, and Tony with a Y, because he's much more sort of like rough and ready, but he lives in a much larger version of one of these, and more refined and all that, but still made in exactly the same way, just on a bigger scale. I will just show you around my scruffy little empire though, while we're sat in the Roundhouse. Now, you may be able to see these intersecting poles, and it's just the main thick ones that you're looking at, the little ones I put on afterwards. the main thick poles, they all lay one on top of the other in a circular fashion. There's plenty of videos that show how to make a reciprocal frame roof, but basically you end up with, you start off with a big stick in the middle, or a tripod to hold up the first rafter, and that is at a set height, calculations for which are in Tony Wrench's book, interestingly. But you know, you can sort of guess it, but you probably get that wrong. So the height of that is kind of critical, kind of important. And then, excuse the sirens going past. And then you go round the building, adding on the next one and the next one, the next one. You lay them all on top until you get to the very final one. And what that has to do is go on top of the one before and underneath the first one. And that is why the height of the first one is critical. And then once they're all in place, all you do is remove that support, and what happens is they sag down onto each other, and each beam holds the one next to it and the one next to it and one next to it. So hence you need no central support, which is absolutely ideal. So that's that. The logs for that came from a timber yard of a friend of mine. Well, he was renting in this yard at the time, and that is it was going to be cut up for firewood, but it's sort of gone too far to be used for firewood, so hence I've got them here. They were sort of free. The blue roofing sheet that you can see used to be a swimming pool cover. That came out of a job place where I work. As you see here, I've got a central fireplace with a Frontier stove in it. Outside, that's the homemade oven stove. So it used to be an oven, as you can see. It was a fan oven. The round circle in the bottom there is where the old fan was. I found that in a set of woodland, not this woodland, a different woodland that I was working at, and it had obviously been dumped, and so I took it out, cut it up a bit, put a plate on top, welded a chimney on it, and turned it into a little stove for in here. This project is very much a case of use what you can when you get it, when you find it. You know, it will come in handy for something. The oven is a case in point. The wheelbarrow I use here, I've got an old pallet tied onto the wheelbarrow base. The wheelbarrow base came out of another job. My friend took the bucket of that wheelbarrow as a fire pit because it was separated from the base at the time, and I took the base with the wheel on it, tied on the pallet. It's all about adapting, making things useful, making use of things that other people have thrown away. It's kind of like wombling, yeah. This place is a bit of a wombling paradise. Used things being reused and repurposed. So it's never going to be tidy, it's never going to be perfect, it's never going to be, you know, oh my god, look at that, it's never going to be featured on television, you know. It doesn't fit the criteria. But this is me, this is my personality, you know. It's using stuff that no one else wants, looking at things differently, trying out different ideas. Not all of them are going to work, you know, but as long as most of them do, then that's what it's about, and that's kind of what this channel's about. And so comments from people who may be well-meaning, have probably never done this sort of thing themselves, a lot of them, because you can normally filter out people who are experts at making comments. You know, people who've actually lived the life don't tend to make the same sort of comments. People who've watched other people doing things, they make a particular style of comment, and those people are quite dangerous because they do put, I don't give a about people who sort of comment like that. It might affect me a bit, but generally, you know, whatever, their opinion, I'm not bothered. And I can filter out the people that know what they're talking about and the people that don't know what they're talking about quite easily. So this whole place is an experiment, and it's fun. And actually what I've done here, have I built a really comfortable home to live in? No, of course I haven't. Have I built a shelter in the woods for friends to come for a few days, invitee friends, people I don't even know. I've had people down here, I don't know them, but they've come, they've used the space, they've enjoyed it, and they've left it in a clean and respectful manner, and that is great. The wildlife here doesn't suffer because of anyone's presence, because of our presence. If anything, I'm on a program of improving the diversity of species we get in here. So, you know, it's a retreat. It's a relaxing retreat for people, and that's what I want from it, and that's what hopefully it gets. It's not a business. It doesn't make me any money. It costs me money, but obviously by doing things recycling, with recycled materials, that stops it costing too much. Clearly there are always going to be costs because you can't have recycled everything. Some stuff, you know, does end up having to be purchased, but keep that to a minimum and the costs stay down. The windows there came from a greenhouse I dismantled. As previously mentioned, outside there is the shepherd's hut. The total cost of that shepherd's hut came out at about £1,200. That's buying of it, buying a stove to go in it, which was new, fitting it out, electrics, everything in there, about 1,200 quid. Total cost of this structure, pretty much nothing. The light is fading fast. There's the back side of the hut. There's the view. Inside you won't be able to see anything now. We've got a lot more room in here now. Markedly a lot more room. It's great.